Once more, Cell makes a daring escape, but this time, the Continuity Patrol is hot on his trail, with Kakamasu instantly opening up a portal to try and find Cell. After all this time chasing him, they might have finally got him in a corner. It's the first true meeting of the Continuity Patrol and Cell Prime. Let's begin part 5. Moments after Cell arrives in a new continuity, he senses a few visitors, the same people that he just saw before, and the same people that have been chasing him. Although one thing does interest Cell, seeing Kakamasu as part of the Continuity Patrol is not necessarily too unexpected, but it's pretty interesting to him. Especially because this time he also gets to see other members of the patrol, including another Goku, with him greeting Goku. Kinda angering Kakarot because once more, someone's calling him Goku. It's kind of annoying at this point, especially now that Cell's doing it. Cell's pretty confident that he's going to be able to do well here. In terms of raw strength, he now has more than enough power to actually fend them off. Especially because Piccolo's not here, he's the strongest patroller, so it shouldn't be too bad. But the patrol wastes no time. Pretty much instantly, Cell tries to skip time by 3 seconds, but Hit and Granola are able to counter this. Not only being able to move around during the skip time, but negating Cell's time skip, and then stopping time on their own on top of it. Same goes for Kakamasu. He is the Supreme Kai of Time after all. Cell can't move, he can't believe it. These two shouldn't be stronger than him, and they're not, but their time controlling abilities, they're much better with that than Cell is. Cell's conscious while time is stopped, and he tries to power up in order to counter this, but it's already too late. Time has stopped completely for him. As Hit and Granola go into attack, Cell somehow is able to move an arm during the stop time, barely being able to punch Hit away, causing time to resume. So, the time controlling can go that far. He didn't know it could be that potent, and he wonders if he could do more himself. Again, he's not too adept with time control, and he only just recently started using it. But if he tries it a few more times, maybe he'd be able to counter this pretty easily. Besides, even if they get him in stop time, they don't have enough power to actually kill him. Although, he is a little bit concerned that they might have some sort of sealing technique. That's the best way they could stop him. He wonders where the rest of the patrol is too. Why aren't they all here on him? Every time he's met the patrol, they've only had a few people with them. But Cell shouldn't be concerned about that. These patrolmen are strong, but they're not on his level by any means. And this is a good way for him to see their abilities. But then, Cell starts to feel a weird sensation. That glitching, the same one that he felt before. He hasn't had this in a while because he's kind of been able to mitigate this. He's basically learned when to expect them, and either brace himself for it or try to counter it with his own abilities. Trying to stabilize himself in whatever continuity he's in, but he's never found a perfect counter, and they're able to induce it somehow, basically activating the glitching against him. This is Kakamasu's doing. He saw this weakness within Cell, and tries to exploit it. All the continuity patrolmen actually have a way to avoid this. They're hopping around different continuities, but unlike Cell, they actually know how to do this pretty well. And thanks to Cronoa, they basically exist outside of continuities. She essentially made them immune to this stuff. Of course, this doesn't apply to Cell, and now he's trapped by this, being basically stunned in midair. The patrolmen are all about to catch him. But while Cell can't move, he still does have help. Raibo and Gogi show. Not even needing to clash, they just create their own portals for Cell, doing it the same way he did. Cell is surrounded by them. The patrol can't really get closer because otherwise they'd go into the portals. And once all the portals dissipate, Cell's gone. He's able to barely escape again. And the instant he's out of there, he hops through more continuities, traveling through multiple realities basically on a whim. Using this to lose the patrol as he also opens up a bunch of other portals behind him. Cell is cocky here, but he's not stupid. He knows if he fights them, he definitely overpowers them, but their abilities are too much for him. He's been able to kind of mitigate glitching himself, but it's still a weak point for him, especially if they can control that. Plus, their time abilities are better than his. Again, they can't kill him, but they probably have a sealing technique, so he does have to watch out. But thankfully that experience did give him something. He read Kakamasu's mind a little bit more, and got some more info about the glitching and stuff. Now, he can't really stop it himself yet. He can still try and mitigate it a bit, but not fully stop it. He's still vulnerable to this, but at least he knows about the fact that they can induce it. Of course, the patrol's chasing him throughout all these portals, but eventually they hit a dead end. Cell's masking his presence too. Especially with him now knowing how to sense stuff outside of his continuity, he knows how to suppress his own presence, so they can't sense it outside of that. Once more, he's outsmarted them. Kakamasu's disappointed, and also angered. Of course, everyone's disappointed, but for Kakamasu it's a bit different. He's had many more negative emotions than them, especially with what happened when he fought Cell. This is mainly due to the Zamasu side of him. That suppressed malice within him is starting to bubble up, and the other patrolmen can sense it. It kinda does concern them. And maybe it's best if they head back for now. Kakamasu still wants to chase Cell, but they shouldn't be rash. They're not gonna find him just yet. Besides, they can help the other patrolmen. Right now they're trying to recruit more people. Bardock's family has gone to recruit others alongside Piccolo. We haven't seen much of the other family members just yet, but we have seen Kakarot and Bardock. But in the original scenario where they're from, Bardock's whole family was actually recruited, which includes Raditz, Gine, and Ruda. With Ruda obviously being someone that doesn't exist in most continuities. They spent this whole time trying to recruit other people, and Piccolo's been really helpful for them. They need a bigger squad and a more powerful squad. Plus, Cell Prime isn't their only responsibility. But now that Cell's becoming a bigger and bigger threat, he's moving up in terms of priority. More of a reason they should get more recruits. Meanwhile, Cell Prime is in a new continuity. He could tell instantly. He's in Universe 7, it looks like. but he feels a terrifying presence. Not something scary or malicious, but an overwhelming power that he could sense throughout the universe. It's not even very potent, it's just in the background. He could feel it from this distance. He then feels a huge surge of power behind him. He feels part of himself being erased. Quickly, he splits himself into two, then using his own powers to counter the Hakai. Some god of destruction maybe just tried to erase him. But this power's different. It's not like any god of destruction he's faced before. He turns around to see what he assumes is Goku. It kinda looks like him, but he's in a completely different form, something that Cell's never seen before. He has long white hair and white fur, but more importantly his attire. He's wearing the attire of a god of destruction. Goku can already tell it's Cell. Of course he looks much different from the Cell that he fought, but he looks similar enough, and the different energies within him, that's pretty much a dead giveaway that this is Cell. And knowing that Cell could have his DNA, he tried to erase Cell right away. But something's weird about this Cell. Well, that makes two of them because Cell doesn't know what's up with this Goku. Why is he god of destruction, and why is he like that? Well, Goku simply explains that he's always at his peak. He stays in this form constantly, basically as a form of training. He has complete mastery over it. It's basically a combination of all his power, which does include Ultra Instinct. That's the one thing that Cell can recognize. He even activates his red eyes and can see. This Goku has no vital points. Unknowingly, Cell entered a timeline where Goku has mutated, one where he has potential far greater than normal. The strangest part about this is he doesn't sense the Continuity Patrol chasing him. They should definitely sense this power, but they don't do anything about it, because they don't see anything out of the ordinary. This continuity is a pretty strong one overall, and Goku's always this powerful. It's not really anything of concern. They could probably pick up on the power pretty easily, but it doesn't matter. Cell instantly goes into his prime form, knowing that his base probably won't be a match for this Goku. Again, he doesn't really know what this continuity's deal is, but he does know one thing for certain. It's a strong continuity. It could probably be pretty fun. Besides, if he can't defeat a simple god of destruction here, he's not fit to continue his journey. He's defeated others before. This one won't be an issue, even if it is Goku. He has new abilities. He's gained some of his power back too. A lot of power, actually. A clash between the two begins, with Cell also noting how surprising it is to see that Goku can survive out in space. He would think that's at least a weakness for him, but no. This Goku's far different from any Goku he's ever faced. And not just Goku, this is the strongest opponent he's faced ever. Although, he never really got a gauge on Piccolo's full power, but Piccolo still hasn't tapped into his full potential yet. He still has to try and unlock that. So, as they are currently, this Goku's actually the strongest person Cell's faced, even above Moro in terms of raw power. But thankfully for him, unlike Moro, this Goku doesn't seem to be adept at magic like Moro, at least not nearly to that level. The biggest issue with Moro there was the fact that he could take energy. With this Goku, it's just going to be a nice normal fight. Well, normal in the sense that there's not going to be much magic used here. This fight is anything but normal. Goku does have to be careful though, because Cell isn't holding anything back. Of course, they both have ki control, but Cell doesn't really care about that. He wants to fight with no restraints, and Goku obviously doesn't like that. But even while controlling his ki, Goku is able to keep up for a bit. Goku does seem to be above Cell, but not by a significant margin. If Cell can hold out for long enough during this battle, he can grow stronger through just pure progress alone. And not to mention, subtly he's trying to steal energy from this Goku, using his own magic, but he's doing it incredibly slowly so Goku doesn't notice. And Cell's confident he can win this, at least until another opponent shows up for him, starting to fight alongside Goku. He also can't really recognize this fighter, but by looking at his face he could tell it's Gohan, even though this form looks completely different from anything he's seen Gohan in. Father and son teaming up against Cell. He's definitely seen this before. Gohan of course could feel all this from where he was, joining Goku without any hesitation. This is going to make the fight a lot tougher for Cell because the two of them together could probably beat him. So, he starts to turn up the energy stealing, trying to steal it faster than he was before. Focusing on Gohan too because he won't know anything about this Cell. And Cell goes purely on the defensive. He is taking attacks and taking a lot of damage, but slowly he heals himself by stealing energy. Any damage he takes gets healed by the energy he steals. They have so much power within them. He just has to be defensive. He just has to drag this out as long as possible. Of course, Goku and Gohan aren't really holding anything back. Without magic, Cell probably would have lost here already, especially now that he's fighting these two. He's enjoying the battle, but this is the most dangerous fight he's ever been in. Two opponents that are stronger than him, that can counter most of his abilities. And to make things even weirder, Cell senses a portal opening up nearby. He feels a sense of terror throughout his body, something he hasn't felt pretty much ever. It's an impending doom. He just feels death, because through that portal, he could sense Goku and Gohan entering. There's two of each of them now. Of course, when he came to this continuity, he split the timeline which created another Goku and Gohan. And for them, traveling between timelines isn't really too hard. They have enough power to just do that pretty casually. Cell's dead here. There's no way out of this. But he's not going to give up. He has one thing that he could try as a last-ditch effort. The main Gohan that he was fighting before. That's his target now. Quickly, he grabs onto Gohan and Kai somewhere random. Not just a planet in this universe, but one in a completely different universe. It's only a matter of time before the others find him. Gohan doesn't really know what Cell has planned here, but he's a coward for doing it, running away from the battle and taking a prisoner. But even so, it's not going to work. Gohan has more than enough power to fight him. And Cell says he knows that. He's just trying to even the playing field a bit. Gohan hasn't noticed this entire time. His energy's been drained by Cell a bit. And now that they're alone, Cell can completely focus on that. He focuses all his energy, all his magic. Gohan feels the power draining from him rapidly. He tries to fight back, but he can't do anything. He even drops back into his base form, and Cell leaves nothing left over. While he loves battles like this, he also does want to grow stronger still, by stealing more power. He drains Gohan of all his energy, assimilating it within himself. Thankfully, the capacity for the energy that he can hold has increased. He's not going to make the same mistake he did before where all the energy was just burning out. That's why he's been working to make his body stronger, but this will be good. Now it's a 3v1, and Cell's grown a lot stronger. This should help him. And this power, it's beautiful. That same feeling that he felt before, when he was drunk on power. He feels it again, that ecstasy from all the strength that he's absorbed. He missed this feeling. He wants more of it. He's being blinded by it. This all happens within seconds. The two Gokus and the other Gohan eventually do show up. Not even teleporting here, but just flying through the universe to come here. And even though Cell's only had a moment to himself, he was thinking. He's not even sure if he wants to finish this fight, because if he just does this again, it's gonna be too easy. He's already won here. But on top of that, he thinks back to the idea of the Cell games, that thought that was implanted in his mind. He might as well save some opponents for a fun challenge later. That'll make it much more fun, wouldn't it? He grabs onto one of the Gokus, absorbing all of his power too. The other Goku and Gohan try to stop him, but this time, he's so much stronger, they can't do anything. And then they realize what happened. The other Gohan's completely missing. Cell absorbed him and took all of his power, killing him too. Naturally, this enrages the main Goku that Cell was fighting before. But now with the power of the other Goku, Cell's able to easily fend him off. And he tells these two not to worry. He'll come back for them eventually. Now that they know his abilities and the fact that he exists, they should be prepared for it next time, and he won't use it in the next fight. He only really did this as a last resort. He wanted that power, and he didn't want to die just yet. He has so much more to do after all. But he tells these two he'll see them soon enough. As he then vanishes from this continuity, leaving behind the original Goku that was here, as well as the variant Gohan from the other timeline that he made. Both of whom are furious right now, and they're not even sure if they can revive the others. Their mortal bodies aren't the only things that are gone. Cell absorbed everything, their entire essence, their souls. It's basically existence erasure. The Dragon Balls can't bring them back. The Super Dragon Balls could, but Goku's not sure if they should use them just yet. If Cell can absorb power, what if they led him right to the Super Dragon Balls and then he absorbs Super Shenron? It's too risky. They don't know if he's still lurking around here, especially because he said he's going to come back eventually. They need to quell their anger for now. Meanwhile, Cell hops around hundreds of continuities once more. He'll make himself completely untraced, and he's starting to finally visualize a roadmap between continuities. He'll be able to get back to that other one. He does want to come back later after all. Although there is one thing that he takes from that other Goku, something that he learned. He wants to constantly stay in his prime form. That Goku was staying in whatever his peak form was. And Cell should try to do the same. That's his next goal now. All the while, the Continuity Patrol goes around collecting more members. And maybe Cell just led them to their newest recruits. This is where we'll leave off for now. What do you think about this part and what's going to happen next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel, and it shows me you want to see more like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.